I don't get that sense at all. He seems the same Jerry Jones I've seen over the last 4 or 5 years. So the Micah Parsons thing I don't think it's even close, was the biggest thing to come out of that. Just the way he talked about the dealings with Micah directly, and then with not knowing who David Mulligetta is, which is just so ridiculous to even believe. But that was the biggest news maker, because not only do you not hear other owners, general managers talk like that, but Jerry talked for, it was almost 35 minutes. And during that time, it was like he wanted to talk about Micah Parsons in the contract, where it's like, that's on Tuesday. On Sunday, when we're talking to Stephen Jones, now there's less people. There's only like 3 of us talking to Stephen. And it just like, he would answer some stuff, but he'd be quick to talk about how he's like, I don't want to get into that because that's more into negotiations and I don't want to share that. And it was just a great example of like, that's how things will be different when Steven's running the team. He'll still talk, he'll still be available, but that you won't get 35 minutes. That 35 minutes will be 10 minutes. And you're not asking follow-up questions on these answers if Jerry isn't giving this great length on all these things. Like, he wanted to make it known that, you know, this thing should just be between me and Micah figuring it out. But that's just not how the NFL works. And that's not how it's going to get done. It's not going to get done with just, it's too big of a deal. He's not going to be able to just talk Micah into something, get him to sign on a paper, and then go on with his way. That's just not going to happen. David Mulligetta is going to have to be involved. And so that's why I've always had apprehension about saying, like, it's near, it's close, whatever. Like, there's so much money, and it's such a big deal that any little thing can throw it off. And I don't think there's any better example of how big of a deal it is and how important it is to Jerry for him to repeatedly say how he doesn't give his cell phone number out to very many people, but Micah's one of them. Like, he's not going to do that if he doesn't understand how important this deal is, not just for Micah Parsons, but really now in the next 3-4 years for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's great stuff. I know AOC is ready to unleash. Before we kind of touch on that, because that's going to take up pretty much the whole show. Was there anything else, John, that came? I know we'll talk about Brian Schottenheimer tomorrow.
We're going to get to the Micah stuff. Yeah,
we'll draft and kind of like needs, but people want to know about this contract, and they want to know about even the fact that they may not be done in free agency. What are you gathering from that?
Yeah, so it's free agency / possibly making another trade. As much as they want to say that they're ready to draft or, you know, fill in holes, I don't think that they feel 100% ready for the draft right now. I think they still want to fill another hole or two so that they can feel a little bit more comfortable going in the draft. And so, not sure what that'll be. Not saying it'll be as big as, you know.
That's gonna be X Master. It's gonna be X Master. No. We ain't speaking on negativity to the.
Well, you can word it that way. I don't know if it'll be an egg smasher or it'll be more like Kyer Elam, Kenneth Murray type, you know. But I feel, talking to Steven and Jerry, that they want to do a little bit more before the draft happens. So that's, you know, they got 3 weeks then to work some stuff out. And I understand what they're saying, because you do not want to go into drafts. The Cowboys, and I'm sure it's the same for most teams, they just don't draft well when they're trying to specifically fill a need. And if you can fill a couple other areas, you'd feel a lot better. And those couple other areas that to me would stand out would be cornerback, wide receiver, running back. Those 3 in particular, there has to be more done there, and everybody knows it. So if you could add something else at one of those spots, I think you'd feel a lot better going into the draft, not feeling like, well, we have to get a receiver at 12, we have to get a running back in the second round, and we have to get a corner in the second round, running back in the third. Now that could all work out, but you better have a backup plan in case it doesn't, so that you're not, because the problem you get into, if that's your mindset going in, you can do 1,000 mock drafts and it can set up 999 times exactly like that. And all it takes is one time for where it's like, damn, right before we were about to draft, somebody took this. I mean, anybody that's listening that's done fantasy football draft knows how this goes, where you're just like, oh yeah, I can wait. This guy will fall to me. And then not only does a person in front of you take them, but somebody trades up to take them. So that's why I don't think that they're quite done yet to get to where they want to be for draft, even with all the picks they have.
Bingo about to launch in right here. They're not. They're absolutely not. And both parties told us that they're not.